I'm struggling. Like, I'm really struggling. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bethany if you're new here, and today we are going to be doing a reading vlog. We is me. I'm going to be doing a reading vlog. I'm going to be reading A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin in this video. I am so excited. So if you don't know, I just did a reading vlog reading acotar, A Court of Thorns and Roses. If you want to hear my thoughts on acotar, I will link that video below. It is spoiler free for like the first part of it, and then there's a spoiler section at the end. So if you have not read acotar, you can definitely watch that. But sadly, I'm gonna have to make this video with spoilers because it is the second and third book in the series. So therefore, anything I say in this video will ruin anything that happened in the first book. So I am so sorry if you have not read these two books. So I'm going to have to politely ask you to leave this video, even though I don't want to. I love you, I want you to be here, but I don't want to ruin the books for you. If you don't care if the books are ruined for you, feel free to join in on the fun, but this is specifically for those that have read the books. I have heard that these are like the favorites in the series, specifically acomaf. A Court of Mist and Fury is a favorite, or the people's favorite of the series. So I feel like this video is gonna be really fun. I feel like I'm gonna really get in deep into these characters and this story, and I'm just really excited. So obviously when we end acotar, Hamlin kills Amarantha and Farah becomes a high fae, and Farah has made a deal with Rhysand that she has to go to his court. She goes back home to the spring court with Tamlin, and 1 week every month of the year she has to go to the night court to be with Rhysand to, I don't really know what. We're gonna find out what she does in this book. They also, I think, recently heard that the king, I can't remember his name, wants to take over the mortal lands, and also Farah has left her family. Basically Nesta told her not to come back, but they're like well off, they're doing their thing, and they are prepared to leave if necessary. So that's kind of where we're at. So excited to read this, actually. Like, I'm really excited, not gonna lie. And also, like, let's just talk about this. It's so floppy. Like, we love that. We love the floppiness. Also, this book is, let's see how many pages it is. Let me not look, let me not cheat. We don't want to get it spoiled for us. 624 pages, and the next one is 699 pages. So it's time to start this book. It's time. It's time. Let's do it. I thought I would give an update. I'm about 60 pages in. I'm eating supper. Hamlin is getting on my nerves, being a little overprotective, and I'm watching Carrie Can Read to the part where I am in acomaf to just, you know, let me know what's going on because I'm not sure. So some things just don't make much sense, but we love her. She's very helpful. Currently, Farah is at the night court learning how to read, so we love that for her. So I'll let you know how it goes from there. Okay guys, so it's been a couple days and I have not updated you on A Court of Mist and Fury. Yeah, that's what it's called. I'm on page 204, and the first like 50 to 100 pages are kind of slow. Like, they're pretty much just in the spring court. Not much is going on. Basically, Farah is struggling with nightmares. She's waking up, throwing up every night, all this stuff, and Hamlin is just like kind of doing nothing. He's not doing anything for her. I get he also has nightmares from what happened under the mountain, but like, he is asleep when she wakes up, and I'm like, I was watching the acomaf plot summary video that Carrie Can Read posted, and she was like, he has heightened sense of smell and like hearing because he's a high fae, and he's not hearing her wake up to go throw up in the middle of the night and like jerk awake when she has nightmares. Just something's fishy there. So that was annoying. Where I'm at right now, they're currently, Tamlin locked Farah in the house, in the manor, whatever, and wouldn't let her out. She has a panic attack, and Rhys saves the day. We love that. And then she sees Valeris. He takes her to Valeris. She meets Cassian, Azriel, and what's her name? Amren. And then they go to the prison to talk to, who do they talk to? I literally don't know the names. They talk to the Carver. Something Carver, I can't remember. But anyway, so they just talked to him. That's where I'm at, where I stopped last night. They just talked to the Carver and learned that basically the Eye of Julian, is that his name? Literally don't know anyone's names. I just forget immediately. Jurian, that's what it's called. But that's his name. That he can basically come back to life if they have a certain like tool, which the king does have. Also, Farrah has agreed to basically like fight with Reese in his inner circle. She agreed to fight the king with them. So that's where we're at in the book. Just like giving you a little update. And my thoughts so far are that Reese, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get the love for Reese. He's actually great. Which I kind of knew he was great. Like, there were some things in the first book. I'm gonna have to move this because Lily's just trying to get the camera. There's some things that we just don't know about him. He seems actually like a good guy because there's things he did that like just seemed, you know, a little bit nicer than he seemed to appear to be. And so in this book, we definitely learned that he basically was being Amarantha's whore because he was trying to keep her from asking questions about Valeris and all the people in Valeris and all that stuff. And there was one quote, I loved it so much. Let me find it. She just met the inner circle and she's talking to Reese. He's telling her like he did these things under the mountain to protect the people in Valeris. And she says, it's a shame that others in Perithian don't know. A shame that you let them think the worst. And then Reese says, as long as the people who matter most know the truth, I don't care about the rest. I'm like, okay. And then whenever she, I think right after this, she like had a nightmare, woke up. I think if I'm understanding correctly, she like tore into her sheets and stuff from her claws. They like came out during her dream. I don't really know. But Reese like calms her down, comforts her, and like holds her hair back while she throws up. And that's what we want. Like that's what Tamlin should have been doing. I don't know what he's up to. I'm about to find out once we get to the end of this what he's up to, but something's fishy there. Something's fishy, which I already knew. So I'm really enjoying it so far. I do have to say the beginning is a little slow. It's a little slow, but we're picking up and I really like the Night Court. I like Valeris. I like Reese a lot. He seems sweet, but I am just like, I need some romance, you know what I mean? Like we want the romance to pick up. Oh, I love this as well. This is on page 182 and she's talking to Ray. She's like, I felt you again, but like, I thought your guards were up. She asked if his shields were up, you know, his mental shield. He's like, yeah, they're up. You didn't get past them. And then it's talking about how the bond is a living thing, an open channel between us, shaped by my powers, shaped by what you needed when you made the bargain. And she said, I needed not to be dead when I agreed. And he said, you needed not to be alone, which I thought was interesting because I feel like the thing she always felt, or how she always felt when she was in the Night Court, or the Spring Court, was she was alone. She like really didn't have anybody. She didn't really have any friends. She had Ianth, but really she was just there to make sure everything was like going with the wedding and stuff. Like it wasn't really a friend, you know? And so she felt really alone. Tamlin was always gone. Reese obviously saved her life and Under the Mountain, but he also like she wanted someone with her, like to not be alone. And that actually, that tattoo that she has, not necessarily saved her life, but she was able to get out of the Spring Court when it locked her, because like when Tamlin locked the court, because she had the tattoo and Reese could feel her and was able to come save her, you know? So I thought that was interesting. I tabbed it because I was just like, I like that he said you needed not to be alone. And not only was he like saving her life, but he was like, the reason the tattoo was there and like the bond was created because she didn't want to be alone. And you know, I don't know. Does that make any sense? Anyway, so that's my update. I am excited to see what happens, and I might watch more of my acomaf plot summary video. I've been watching it as I've been reading because it's helpful to understand what's going on, because sometimes I'm like, what are we talking about? What is going on here? Hi. Anyways, I'll update you when I'm reading more. Guys, literally me crying on page 289, and they're walking down the street in Valeris, and Cassian, Moore, and Azriel like left to go dance and stuff, and so it's just Farrah and Rhysand, and they're walking and she hears music. And she's like, I've heard this music before, when she was in her cell in Under the Mountain. And she realized like she'd never heard that before in Under the Mountain, like they didn't play music there. And she realizes that Rhysand sent the music to her cell. And she asks him, like, she says, you sent that music into my cell, why? Rhysand says, because you were breaking and I couldn't find another way to save you. Excuse me? I saw that and I was like, literally crying. Okay, gotta calm down. I can't believe that. That's so sweet. Okay, I'm fine. I'm fine. Anyways, I just need to say that. Literally what is wrong with me. I'm being so dramatic. Like, just ignore me. But I feel like we're getting more of the romance a little bit. It's definitely like a he falls first type situation. Like, he flirts with her. And I think she thinks he just like is a flirt. But he definitely is not just a flirt. I think he like really likes her. Like, really you know, cares about her. I gotta tab that real quick because that is the sweetest thing I've ever heard in my life. Excuse me. I gotta go. Anyways, I'm gonna keep reading. I'm like almost halfway through, which is great. I just had to share. That was so freaking sweet. Okay, bye. Oh my goodness, guys. Oh, I haven't talked in a couple hours. I'm currently reading. It's the next day. I'm on page 424. And Farrah has finally like realized that she wants Reese. And this quote is so good. So I'm gonna read it. She says, I was healed or healing enough to want to try, if he was willing to try too. If he didn't walk away when I voiced what I wanted. Him. Not the High Lord, not the most powerful male emperor in the history. Just him. The person who had sent music into that cell, who had picked up that knife in Amaranth's throne room to fight for me when no one else dared. And who had kept fighting for me every day since, refusing to let me crumble and disappear into nothing. So I waited for him in the chilled moonlit garden, but he didn't come. Excuse me? Excuse me. Excuse me. Not okay. That was so good. They just came back from the night court, and she like sat on his lap and like pretended to be his like, you know, plaything or whatever. And she was like, it felt real to her. And he kind of lost his mind because, what's his name? I really forget everyone's names. Kier or whoever called her a whore. And so he lost his mind. And so they got in an argument, and then she like realized this, and then he doesn't show up to the garden. And apparently, as I keep reading, he isn't there the next day. It says Reese wasn't at breakfast or lunch. He wasn't in the townhouse at all. I'd even written him a note on the last piece of paper we used. I want to talk to you. I'd waited 30 minutes for the paper to vanish, but it stayed in my palm until I threw it in the fire. We're gonna see what happens next to keep you updated. That was so good. Are you kidding me? Okay, I have to share more quotes because right after I just read that quote, she goes to visit Amren because Reese is nowhere to be found. And then she's about to leave from visiting her. And Amren says, when Reese came back after Amarantha, he was a ghost. He pretended he wasn't, but he was. You made him come alive again. Oh my goodness. And then Amber just talks really highly of him, about how he's the first High Lord that she's ever seen dream. Farrah says, dreams of what? And she said, of peace, of freedom, of a world united, a world thriving, of something better for all of us. And Farrah says he thinks he'll be remembered as the villain in the story. She snorted, but I forgot to tell him. I said quietly, opening the door, that the villain is usually the person who locks up the maiden and throws away the key. Oh? I shrugged. He was the one who let me out. Okay, that's so good. I feel like there's so many good quotes in this book. I'm like, okay, so good. What just happened? I just finished A Court of Mist and Fury, and I'm just not sure what just happened. That was a wild ride. I took some clips of me reading part of it, chapter 54 and 55, if you've read acotar. No, if you read acomaf, you know what I'm talking about. Well, obviously you are if you're watching this vlog. When Reese and Farrah finally get together and tell each other they love each other, the whole thing, it was so freaking cute. Obsessed. So that happened, which was great. And then the end, I was like she literally is now with Tamlin, which I get, she's gonna be like a spy, but I'm like, but you just got with Reese. Like, are you gonna kiss Tamlin and like pretend that you're with him even though you're literally, and she's the high lady of the night court? What is going on? I love how Tamlin said there's no high ladies, and then Reese was like, yes there is, and made her his high lady. Also, the King of Hybern is crazy. So, there's that. It is currently almost 9:30, so I need to go to bed. I do really, honestly, I really want to read romance where I know the beginning, middle, and end, and I'm gonna feel happy, because this is like taking me for a ride, and I'm like just not sure about it, you know? Also, when you finish a book this massive, it feels like an accomplishment. Like, I completed this. Like, look at this humongous book. This was a whirlwind. And I have a feeling the third book is gonna be like that too, because it's gonna be the actual war, which I don't know if I'm ready for. I mean, I'm ready if it's gonna be like all like action the whole time, because I prefer that because it keeps you on the edge of your seat. If it's not action or romance, I feel like I'm just sitting there like, you know? Anyway, so I finished this. I'm gonna start acowar maybe tomorrow. We shall see. That's all. I'm just not sure what happened. Anyways. Hello guys, it has been quite a few weeks since I've last talked to you in this video because I've taken a little break, or I did take a little break, reading acowar. I read a few pages that I just took clips of. Lily, and I don't remember when I took those clips. So I started the book, read a few pages, and then put it down and read something else, but we're back to reading acowar. So I thought I would give you a little update because I'm like 143 pages in, and I feel like I shouldn't have took a break between acomaf and acowar because I'm kind of confused. Like the language doesn't make sense, and maybe it's because I've been reading romance and things that make sense that aren't that hard to understand because I'm a little confused. Also though, this cover is so cute. I love the pink. So I am currently watching the acomaf plot summary video to kind of give me a refresher. And then I'm gonna watch the acowar one up to where I am in this book. But right now they just reunited at the night court, or in Valeris, Rhys and Farah, because Farah was in the spring court for like the first like 100 pages because she was like basically trying to tear down the spring court from the inside. And I think she did succeed in that. And then her and Lucien run away. And they almost die because of Lucien's brothers, but Cassian and Azriel save the day, and we love that. And she reunites with Rhys, which was so sweet. I loved that. The whole moment was just fantastic. Yeah, so that was adorable. And now we're gonna get into, I'm assuming like the war, that's what it's called, acowar, because they're trying to take down Hybrid and all that stuff. So it's kind of where I'm at in the book. Not much has happened, but I wanted to give a little update before I continue reading. Guys, I'm here to give you an update on acowar. So I'm on page 299. My book's over there. It's not next to me, so I'm just gonna talk and not hold the book, but I'm struggling. Like, I'm really struggling because it doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm really confused how people read this book and understand anything that's happening in it. Oh, hi. Hi. It's very nice of you. Honestly, I think what made acomaf like more like you want to read it more is because you're waiting on Farah and Rhys to get together. And so now in this book they are together, which I love, like the little sneak peeks or like the little like moments that we get with them. That's not spicy, like, because I don't really care about the spice, but like when we get moments with them, I really like that. But when it's just like them planning the war, it doesn't make any sense. And I'm just so confused. Like, I had to talk it out like out loud because they were going to the bone carver, but not telling Amren about going to the bone carver, and they were also gonna go to the night court, and Moore wasn't happy about that or something. I don't really know. So I took a break. I feel like once I get to like page 500, it's gonna get really good because it's gonna be the actual war. But the planning of the war is so confusing. I'm like sitting there reading and I just stop reading and I just stare at the wall because I'm like, what in the heck is going on? I'm like, how are people understanding this? Am I just dumb? I don't know. So that's my update. I just like want to read something and actually understand what I'm reading, but I do want to finish it because it's frustrating because I like really like the characters. Like I really like Farah and Rhys, I really like the Bat Boys, and Moore and Amren, they're cool, and we're seeing more of like Nesta and Elaine, and it's unfortunate that they are not really enjoying themselves, especially Elaine. Like she's kind of a shell of herself because she turned into a fairy. So I like the characters, but I'm just so bored and so confused. I'm just really disappointed that I'm not enjoying this, which I assume the end will be good, but I'm not there yet, so. Okay guys, I have an update and I've really made some progress tonight. I'm on page 524 and I was on like page 350 something earlier today, so I've made a lot of progress. I'm honestly kind of wanting to commit to trying to finish tonight because I have like 170 pages left, and that seems like a lot. That is a lot, but I feel like I can maybe finish it tonight or get through a good bit of it tonight. I feel like the end's gonna be quicker than the other part. I don't know, you know what I mean? But basically they're in one of the battles and Farah is about to go see the serial to ask where Highburn's army is. But I'm honestly, I can't say I'm enjoying it any more than I was in the last footage I've taken, but I just want to get through it. Like, I just want to finish this book to say that I finished it and probably give it like a pretty low rating, honestly. Like, I'm just like so uninterested, but I'm committed to continuing it and finishing this book. And I do want to know what happens. Like, I need to know. And I feel like obviously it's the end. We're getting to the climax. So I feel like it's gonna get better. And then I feel like the last like 50 pages ish is gonna be them like rebuilding, like, you know, hopefully Cassian and Nesta get together. I'm hopeful for that. Like, we have some conclusions, you know. Also their dad, Nesta, Farah, and Elaine's dad, haven't seen him, so I'm assuming he's gonna pop up. I'm assuming what's gonna happen in the next 170 pages, and I'm feeling good about it. That seems like a lot, but I feel like I don't have that many, but I do. I've been doing reading sprints with Sarah's Patreon on Discord, like literally for the past 2 hours, because I'm really trying to get through this book because I want to finish it. I want to be done so I can move on from this. I need to move on. So I'm gonna continue. I'm also kind of like, I'm reading it, but half of it I'm just like not even understanding, but it's fine. It's fine. I've just accepted the fact that I'm not gonna understand it. So anyways, that's my update. I'm gonna keep going. Okay guys, it is time to do a wrap up for this video. It's been a long time coming. I've been filming this for a long time. So obviously I read acomaf, A Court of Mist and Fury in January. So my thoughts are kind of fuzzy because it's been so long, but I feel like I shared a good amount of thoughts in this video. Basically, I gave this 4 stars. I really did enjoy it. I really liked seeing Farah and Rhysand get together. Like, that's really sweet. I feel like that really pushes you to want to keep reading because you're waiting on them to finally get together and you find out that they are mates and all that stuff. Like, this one I feel like you were really getting the romance of Farah and Rhysand, so I can see why everyone has this as their favorite. I thought the end, specifically like the last like 200 pages, was wild, and also I tabbed the heck out of it. Like, I tabbed so many things, so I feel like this book was really good. Like, I really enjoyed it. Also, I'm filming this at like 3:30, so the sun is in and out, but the end of this was like crazy. It was very much like a cliffhanger at the end of this book, which I really enjoy. I really enjoy when it's like fast paced, a lot's going on, you're shook by some things that happened. I found that really fun. I thought the first half was a bit slow, but the second half I feel like picks up, and it's like a little over 600 pages. And overall, I feel like these books just should be shorter. Like, I don't think they need to be that long, but it's kind of on my thoughts on that one. As you saw, I finished this last night, and as you also saw from all this footage, I struggled to get through this one. Like, this one is so long and nothing much going on, to be honest. I feel like it should not be as long as it is, which I get. It's like them prepping for the war. Like, you're trying to find allies, you are doing meetings, things of that sort. And the first 100 pages, Farah is in the Spring Court, like messing things up there. So I get like they're like planning and prepping for the war, but the best part of this book was the final battle. So like the last 150 pages were the prepping for the final battle, where Farah is getting like the mirror for the bone carver and all that kind of stuff. I feel like that's like the best part, and then the end was great. So the last 150 pages of this book I loved. I would give like a 4 star to the last 150 pages of this book, but since that wasn't all of this book, I would say maybe a 3.5. I don't know, because I'm like, I feel like the end of this book I liked more than the end of Acotar, and I gave Acotar a 3. So I think I'm giving it a 3.5. I was honestly really excited about this book. I thought I was gonna like it more than acomaf because it is about the war, but it's just too much like prepping for the war. Like, I don't really care about the prepping. Like, let's get to the actual fighting, you know what I mean? And when Rhysand died, I was like, excuse me, that cannot be the end of this book. So I'm so glad that he did not die, that he came back to life, you know, that all the High Lords like gave him their powers. But I do have to say, I'm kind of sad that I finished it because I did really love the characters. Like, it was almost disappointing how hard it was for me to get through because I did love the characters. Like, I feel like Rhysand, Farah, the Bat Boys, Cassian, Azriel, Moore, Amren, all of them I will like think about, and I really loved them. And I'm sad that I finished it, but I'm also like, it was so long and so boring in some parts. I'm like, and also so confusing. Like, some of the language I didn't understand. Honestly, at the end, as I was reading it like the last half yesterday, I was just like reading and like not trying to comprehend what I was reading. I was just trying to get through it because I was spending too much time trying to understand what was going on instead of just like reading it and letting the story develop and me understand as I went. Does that make sense? I will say that this has a good bit of spice. Well, not a good bit, but it definitely has spice in it. It's not closed door, no spice. It definitely has spice in it. And I've heard that the last one, A Court of Silver Flames, has a lot of spice. And I do have to say, I feel like I will like that one because I want to see more of Nesta and Cassian together. So I probably will read that one, but I'm just gonna borrow it from the library. I put it on hold because I do want to see what happened with them, or what happens with them. And I also am borrowing A Court of Frost and Starlight. I already have it on my Kindle, so I'm going to read that. It's like a little over 200 pages. So I'm gonna read that. I'm excited about it because I do really like Farah and Rhysand and all of them, and Valeris and the Night Court. Would I say not to read this? No. I definitely feel like if you like fantasy, if this is like your genre that you really like to read, I feel like this is a great fantasy. Like, I just feel like I didn't understand it. It's just not the fantasy for me, maybe. I don't know. I feel like if these books were like half the size, like 400 pages, maybe I could get behind it because every page or something would be happening instead of like 100 pages to describe like one thing. Like, we don't need that many pages. This is just me. I feel like this is such a unpopular opinion of these books, but if you like fantasy, like, I can see why people like these books. And I really liked the end. I thought it was great. And the fact that we saw her dad helping the queen, that was kind of crazy. Wasn't expecting that. And also, I feel like I heard somebody say there was a shock at the end. Maybe it was Amryn who lied about the cauldron, so you think she's like an enemy. I didn't really think that. I was like, surely she's not against them. Like, she's been with them the whole time for years and years. So she had to have done something, and she was just going to sacrifice herself, but she ended up living, so we love that. Also, the scene where Rhysand is like, honestly saying like bye to them before the final battle. He's like saying all the things that he learned from them. That was such a sweet scene. One of my favorites in this book, truly. So anyways, I think that's all my thoughts about these books. I do think they were good. They were just not my favorite. I feel like I am more into the like Dance of Thieves, Vow of Thieves, like that kind of fantasy vibe where they are humans. Because those books are like 500 pages each, but I feel like there's constantly something happening, while these, some points it was like a lull where not much is happening. And for me, I need more. And I understand that's fantasy, but I'm also like, I've read other books that aren't like that don't have as much like world building, politics, and war. I don't really know. I didn't understand it, but anyways, yeah, that's my thoughts on these books. I did not love them as much as everyone else did, but you know, that's to each their own. Some people really love these. I personally didn't, and that's the beauty of reading, that you don't like things as much as other people. You know what I mean? I did really tab acomaf, so I definitely think that was my favorite, but I feel like the moments in this one were really, really good as well. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be now going back to romance after I read A Court of Frost and Starlight, which I'm very excited about. So let me know your thoughts on these, if you did like them, if you didn't like them. I would love to know. But I think that's it, and I'll see you very soon for my next video. Bye.